Buyers are disappearing from the property market. Across Sydney, Melbourne, and all of Australia's major capital cities, auction clearance rates are at their lowest levels and buyers have run from the market. We're also seeing increases in stock listings. So what is exactly going on right now? The market has completely changed and it's time to reassess our position and how we can take advantage of these conditions to help you in your journey to get you where you want to go. Because although people might be running away from the market, the fundamentals haven't changed. So in this video, we're going to be unpacking the changes to the market based on the federal budget announcement, based on changes in sentiment and what's happening on the ground in each of the local areas that we buy in. And we're also going to be discussing how you can apply this specifically to your strategy. So the buyers are disappearing, people are hesitating, and let's talk about it further. That leads to the question, is it still worth investing in real estate right now in 2026, or should you hold off for a market correction and try and buy at the bottom? So let's start by unpacking what we are actually seeing on the ground in our buyers agency across Queensland and Victoria. We know that the shift has already started and we think it's going to be like this for the next few months at least, especially with interest rates changes on the horizon. So we're seeing fewer people at open homes. This is certainly the case. Some of our managers and associates have even been to open homes where they were the only person walking through a property. Now, 12 months ago, there would have been tens of groups going through homes. So certainly changed as far as boots on the ground inspections goes. Longer time on market, we've seen houses 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 weeks still sitting on the market. Sellers either have the choice to lower the price to meet demand, or we are seeing listings being pulled from the market after a 3-month time period. So definitely longer time sitting on market for a lot of homes there. Lower competition. Less people at open homes, less offers being made, definitely some selling agents stressing out, trying to get their commission. They're desperate to get a deal done or at least present an offer to their seller to show that they're doing the work. So there's lower competition, which means we can make more aggressive offers. Now, you're not going to typically be able to buy 15%, 20% below market value unless you're making an unconditional offer with really sharp terms. Where we are seeing discounts is when we're making sharper offers than the rest of the competition. So if you are willing to waive your finance clause, because there's a lot of nervousness around finance at the moment, that could put you in a stronger position to lower the price. I did that not that long ago, where I bought before a property hit its open home on the first weekend in Geelong in the Victorian market, and I was able to buy that property $20,000 to $40,000 below market value because I got in before the competition and made a very strong offer. The swing is in the buyer's favor at the moment. We are seeing buyers have the advantage when it comes to making offers and negotiating. The power is back with the buyer, where it's been with the seller for so long the last few years. And this means you can find the right opportunity specifically for your circumstances. We also have investors very confused. What structures are we buying in? How should we be buying? What should the offer terms be? Are we confident in the building and the structure and the land and the location and the potential? Can we strata or develop to get this negative gearing benefit down the track? Investors are very much confused at the moment. This is why we need to come back to fundamentals. Why are you investing in the first place? Are 1 or 3 rate rises or government tax changes actually going to impact your borrowing capacity and actually going to impact your decision making? If they are, we need to take all of these things into account, and it does take investors time to recalibrate. And so that's what we're seeing on the ground. I expect the next 2 to 3 months for there to be a lot of confusion from the investor side, investor lending to pull back from 40 to 30 to even 25% over the next quarter. So we'll have to see how all of this plays out. So how did we exactly get here? What are the reasons behind the market sentiment and uncertainty at the moment? Of course, the tax changes to CGT, negative gearing, trust structures. There's just a lot of changes going out there. Some lenders are applying the negative gearing changes right now, even though it's not been made into law. But because the federal government has announced it, there's a lot of banks that are now saying, well, we can't give you negative gearing because we know that this might come through as policy. So there's a lot of nervousness on the mortgage broking and the banking front around how to apply these changes, even though they're not technically law yet. We've definitely got a higher interest rate environment than we've had in the past. Now, I wouldn't go as far to say that we are actually in a high interest rate environment. They're just higher than they were, 12, 18, 24 months ago, especially during that COVID era where money was essentially free. Everyone was getting money at 2% interest rates. So we're back to normalized rates, but a lot of investors in the last 5 years haven't actually been through environments like this where rates are 6 or 7%. When I started my investing journey, they were around 6 or 7%, and then rates fell, and now they've climbed back up again to all-time highs, and we're expecting more rate rises in the near future. Again, another 0.25 or another 0.5% increase shouldn't make or break your decision making around investing in the property market, but it honestly does affect a lot of investors. They are very sensitive to rate changes. And we've also got that global uncertainty. 6 weeks ago, people were talking about the fuel crisis and the fuel crisis this and driving and work and are we going to have to catch buses? And that's all died down when we had the budget announcement. So the media cycle is fast and ever changing. There's always more things happening in the global markets, the US, Middle East areas, Southeast Asia. There's so much happening globally around the markets, fuel, gold, trading, stocks, the list goes on. And so there's a lot of global uncertainty just generally in the financial markets. Now, this has led to a fallout of consumer confidence. This graph here is from Westpac Banking Corporation, and it shows a month-to-month change in consumer confidence. Basically, consumer confidence is an indicator of how people feel about the markets, about the financial markets, and where the economy is heading. You can see in late 2025, between June and November, we saw peak confidence for a period of time towards the end of last year. And this was straight after the 5% deposit scheme announcement and a lot of money flooding back into the markets, especially from investors. We've seen higher percentage of investors jump into the market with the government announcing that 5% deposit scheme and late 2025, things being relatively stable. Now, as we move into 2026, you can see that massive drop off, especially in April, sitting below 82 basis points for consumer confidence, meaning that the market is at the lowest levels or has been at the lowest levels of consumer confidence in decades. What this means is confidence drives investor and buyer decisions. Whether you're an owner-occupier or an investor in the property market, confidence is what's going to give people the ability to go out there and actually take action. It's all well and good to say you're going to do something, but confidence means, and this sentiment means, that people are likely to act on what they're planning on achieving. And so you can see here, April, May 2026, we're sitting at some of the lowest levels in confidence, which means we may have opportunity as buyers and investors, as long as we buy with fundamentals and we've got that long-term time horizon to actually buy the investments that are going to suit our property portfolio to help you move forward in your own journey. Another thing to note is the fallout in auction clearance rates. This is especially evident in Sydney and Melbourne, which are Australia's major cities when it comes to making auctions happen. Other capital cities like Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth have less auctions, but their percentages or clearance rates are sub 50%. And that's the case for a lot of the auction clearance rates now in May and June 2026. And so auction clearance rates have dropped to the lowest levels since COVID, again, showing that sentiment coming out of the market. Now, all of this leads to house price changes. So Sydney prices have fallen 0.9% in the last month. Melbourne has dropped 0.8%, and even the stronger markets like Brisbane and Perth have now started to stall. Perth is the front runner in terms of month-to-month growth, but again, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide are definitely slowing their growth rates. Rather than seeing percentage points on percentage points every month, they're now into the single percentage point basis. What this means is house prices are stalling, and that means opportunity for you as a buyer. If you want to pick up a property in Sydney or Melbourne or one of the other major capital cities, you can now have a little bit more time on your hands and a little bit more negotiating power, and it's all about finding the right opportunity for you. I speak to investors day in, day out in the buyer's agency because we buy across Queensland and Victoria at this point in time. And when we're helping clients make these buying decisions with this changing market sentiment, it's so important that you buy the right property specifically for your circumstances. For example, if you're starting out, you need to get the foundations right. And we want to take into account the government tax changes and where you're heading. This might mean putting more money into your own home and then capitalizing in terms of renovating on that home to add value because that's a capital gains tax-free asset. For other buyers, it might mean buying cheaper properties which have a slightly higher yield because negative gearing is going to be changed. Or it's maybe looking to add a granny flat for increased cash flow to get neutrally geared in your trust structure entities, or buying sites that have strata title potential where you can develop and build a property out the back to get CGT choices and negative gearing going forward. You can see there's 3, 4, 5 options popping up And that's just for one single investor, which is why it's so important to customize to your own specific journey. I'm going to be buying a property in Sydney at the moment, and you might be thinking, Luke, you're crazy. Sydney prices have fallen 0.9% in the last month, and they may continue to fall. But the deal that I'm buying is about creating cash flow for me. I'm going to be buying a commercial property, and it's going to be bringing in around $10,000 to $11,000 net a month. And so I'm not looking at that deal going, oh, where price is heading now. I'm looking at that deal for the next 5 to 10 years. And that takes a lot of the stress out of the investing decision. The property I'm going to be buying, I'll share with you eventually on the channel in the next 6 to 12 months. But the idea is that this property is going to diversify me across the states, across the capital cities, with my properties being held in Brisbane, in Melbourne, in Sydney, and also in Coffs Harbour in a major regional town. So apply this to your own journey. Apply the steps as far as where the market's heading, the fundamentals that you need to keep going and to move forward in your property journey. And this is where crisis meets opportunity. Now, this is the big thing. Where there's media and where there's crisis, there's always opportunity out there. So whether you're looking to get started in your property journey, upgrade your own home, buy investment properties which balance the cash flow, or have development potential, crisis in the media means that there's opportunity for you as a buyer out there in the market to get and seek and source out that right opportunity to help you continue in your property journey. Especially if you're buying your first 1 to 3 properties, that is so crucial to helping set you up for success to snowball your journey from there. If you get your first or your second property wrong, you can really hamper yourself for even 5, 10, 15 years to try and unravel that to then go and continue your investing journey. I know that my first 1, 2, 3 properties really helped me springboard into the market, and the strategies are always changing because the government's changing the rules, the market sentiment is changing, and the locations to buy at different points in time are changing. We're not buying in the buyer's agency where we were when we started in 2020 and 2021. In 2026, we've changed markets, we've changed strategies, we've changed locations to buy based on the fundamentals of the right opportunities from value for money at this point in time. Now, Tom Panos, who's a big property commentator, he's also an auctioneer on the block, he said, when buyers disappear, competition disappears too. We're going to see the biggest buying opportunity in living memory. Get yourself ready. Now, there is speculation that prices, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, could fall 5 to 10%. The biggest decreases we've ever seen in property prices in the major cities sit around 8 to 11%, depending on the data house you look at. Now, we're already seeing Melbourne and Sydney pull back, around 1 percentage point already. So we could see over the next 3 to 6 months, I think between now and October, prices fall multiple percentage points, especially in Sydney and Melbourne. Now, in some areas, especially in Melbourne, prices will be rising. I think the affordable locations sub $800,000, those suburbs are going to rise, and it's going to be your multi-million dollar suburbs which may see the greatest percentage falls. I also think the pockets where properties are 1.6, 1.8 million or 1 to 1.3, which have higher investor percentages, there will be sellouts in those locations, or people will hold on depending on the market. So every pocket is going to be different, and that's why it's so important to not just narrow down to a state or a city. You need to narrow down to the suburb for the right opportunities, as Tom's saying here, in living memory, the best buying opportunity we may have ever seen in recent memory, to get the right opportunity specifically for your circumstances. So what opportunities are we already seeing in the market as professional buyers agents? We are seeing price reductions. Houses listed for 1.1 dropping to $1,050,000 with the opportunity to negotiate hard and get favorable terms on settlement. We're also seeing stale listings, 30, 60, 90 days plus in terms of some of the listings sitting on the market and trying to hold the price that they're asking for, but therefore sitting on the market longer. This is creating that vendor pressure. It's creating price pressure, and vendors either need to make the decision to sell the property or lower the price and meet the market. Negotiating power is back in the buyer's favor. As a buyer's agent, we love this. It's about finding the right opportunity with all the extra levers of value add potential to get the right deal specifically for you. And off-market opportunities. Selling agents have been calling our phones. Myself and the managers have been getting our phones ringing off the hook, with selling agents getting a little bit more desperate to send us an off-market. Here, Purpose Property, we've got more off-markets for you. We're certainly seeing that increase in volume, meaning that they're trying to get deals done quickly and lock their sellers in and get their sales agent commission. And so we're certainly seeing more opportunities in that space. And again, picking the right deals in the off-market and pre-market space that suit our buyers when when it makes sense. So again, it leads back to the initial question, is it still worth investing in real estate going forward? Yes, it is, and that's the truth. It's absolutely still worth investing in real estate if it suits your mid to long-term strategy. Anytime I've made a short-term speculation on property, I've regretted it. I did a flip project in 2023 and I made below minimum wage. It's the worst deal I've ever done. But I've made millions of dollars by investing in real estate with a long-term time horizon because of the power of compound growth. Once you get a $3, $4, $5, $10 million plus asset base, 10% growth on a $10 million asset base is $1 million of equity. That's just 10% growth on a 10 mil asset base. And so once you get scale in a property portfolio and you get compounding growth, the numbers seem ridiculous, but it's the reality. So yes, you can still invest in real estate, and yes, there are great opportunities out there, but you need to be careful now more than ever because there are opportunities and you don't want to get stung buying the wrong deal, which is going to stop you and hamstring you, whereas buying the right deal could help you continue your journey to grow a larger asset base, to create more choices, and to eventually lead to financial freedom, where you can choose what you do for work and choose how many holidays you have a year. And that for me is the purpose behind investing in real estate. It's not about flashy things for me. It's about choices and financial freedom to then live out my values day to day. So if you do want help buying in Queensland or Victoria at this point in time, then head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a free chat with myself where we can discuss buying in these markets with our boots on the ground team. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. How far back do you think property prices are going to decrease in our major cities? Let me know in the comments below and give this video a click here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.